Hi. So, several years ago, I got my first tattoo as part of the Power Tools Studio semester in my undergrad. I ended up designing this machine, and I even got to try out some tattooing on pink foam with something that I built basically out of garbage that I found around my house. For this project, I chose to do it again, but this time with better, cooler garbage that I found lying around the studio. My final design is made out of two distinct assemblies, both of which were modeled in Fusion and mostly 3D printed. There is the actual tattoo machine with several interconnected parts, and then the foot pedal assembly, which only required two components, not including the sensor. The foot pedal is meant to control the speed of the needle. The code for it was really straightforward. I was basically able to adapt the code for my sensor's documentation with only minor tweaks, which was really convenient for me. Fabricating and assembling all the parts was definitely the more complex task, especially because everything's function was really sensitive to tolerances as well as weight. Fortunately, I got it in one and definitely didn't need to rework any of my designs. So anyways, this is what the machine looks and sounds like when it's running. I had an issue while filming the video where the shutter speed of my camera seemed to sync up with the motion of the needle, making it look like it's going really slow, kind of like those videos of helicopters that look like they're floating. I tried filming with my phone to see if it was different, but it was actually just way worse instead. This is the assembled foot pedal, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. I didn't expect it to be as complicated as it was or look so cool, so yeah, I'm really happy with it. There's a spring on it that brings the foot pedal naturally back to its starting point. The way it works is by interfacing with a rotary encoder, which is a sensor that basically tracks its own rotation using a series of 32 positions on the shaft. Using a rotary encoder is a little bit of a cheat, to be honest. I think typically this sort of thing would be done with a potentiometer. In any case, it seemed to work out fine. Here's the machine and foot pedal in use together. On the camera, you can't really see a change in the needle speed, but you can kind of hear it, so you'll just have to take my word that it works. Once I got everything working right, the next step was to find a few body parts to test it out on. I didn't have any ink, so here's me cracking open a bunch of pens. Ultimately, I figured for safety, it's probably best to test on foam again. Eagle-eyed viewers may notice that my foot pedal is actually on my desk, and that's because the wires in our kit are too short, so I was never actually able to put the foot pedal on the ground and use it properly. I did try and string a bunch of wires together to make a long cable, but the voltage drop was too much and the motor didn't work. I wanted to do a really big and impressive piece for this video, but I just never got around to carving out 6 hours for that, so I settled on doing half of a mediocre piece instead. Using movie magic, I was able to simulate what the piece would look like if I spent twice as long on it. Honestly, for a tattoo, it's not really that good, but for being a thing I made using a thing I made, I'm actually quite happy with it. Another part of the project was designing the machine so the motor could be removed and it could be disassembled. So here it is disassembled. Thanks for watching.